Imagine you wake up one morning and you look around. Your roommate's not in your room. You wonder, okay, they're not there. They probably went to class. So you start to go to class in the morning. Nobody's around on campus. It's a ghost town. You think, everybody's probably sick. You go to your class, nobody's in there. What's happened to everybody? Well, you realize that everybody is on their phones. And that is the world we live in today. Nobody communicates. So I've recently noticed whenever I walk from class to class and to the caf, there's hordes of people looking down as if they were about to step on their own dog or cat. But they're about to walk off the side of the road or sidewalk. This is because, as I stated before, they are on their phones. So I will be covering, first, how often we use phones, not in the sense of emails and important things, but social media and texting friends about their new hairstyle or how much fun they had over the weekend. Second, how it affects our emotions and productivity and sleep. And third, how it can affect us in the long run when it comes to job interviews and options. So this is from the Daily Mail Online. A photographer took pictures of the family and he photoshopped out the devices that they have in their hands. And as you can see, this is a widespread social normal. Everybody uses their phones or social devices. But it's making us more lonely. It keeps us entrapped in our own world, and we're not interacting with those around us. Now, usually, since phones are within arm's reach, we would think we use them often. Well, according to the Pew Research Center, about 24% of all teens between 13 and 17 use their phones almost constantly. And then right there in the center, you can see 56% said they use it several times a day. And this isn't, as I stated before, for emails or job searches. This is for social media updates and just scrolling through your feed. Next, we have the Washington Post. And then they did a study on how often or how much time per day teenagers use their phones. So first, if you can see that, sorry about the color difference, looks weird. Between 8 and 10 years old, they use devices about 5.5 hours a day. And then between 11 and 14, almost 9 hours a day. And lastly, we have between 15 and 18, and that is 8 hours a day. And this isn't obviously in one sitting. This is sporadically, or just walking and checking your phone. And this is an average as well. Now, since phones aren't just centralized in the US, it's a worldwide thing. So according to the Telegraph in the UK, teenagers use phones 30% of the time they're awake throughout the week. Imagine how much more you could be doing. You could be sleeping if you wanted to sleep, or working on homework that you didn't do. And this is usually spent on things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Now, you might wonder, why does this affect me? I use my phone all the time, but why should I care? Well, being on our phones also affects us emotionally and physically. This Ohio study, according to Emotional Fitness, stated that we get about 6 or less hours of sleep per day because we're on our phones. Because our brains are attracted to action and stimulation. So if you use your phone right before you go to bed, you're checking an update or an email, even though you go to sleep, your brain's still going to be active for about an hour. So if you're planning on getting 7 hours of sleep, you're going to get about 6 for your brain. Now, according to The Guardian, phone usage cuts off our need for stimulation, as in emotional stimulation or just between conversations. Because if you can talk to your friends in bed and ask how they did, why would you get up? There's a lot less social interaction per day if you're walking to the caf, if you already know what's happening in their lives over Facebook or Instagram. Now, sorry about that, my cards got messed up. And also, it affects our ability to possibly hold a normal conversation or argument. Because over Facebook, you probably had arguments. You have the time to just hit them the right way. Like, oh, here's a little twist, I'm right. But if you're talking in person, you won't have that time to think. You won't be used to having to think on your feet and being able to listen to their side. Now, according to the Washington Times, we have grown up in a narcissistic generation because of Instagram and Facebook. We care about putting our best image out there on these social media things and how much fun we had over the weekend. And we get to see the likes and views that come in. Ooh, this guy that I like watched this video, I hope he thinks I'm cute, or vice versa. Next, we're in a rush society as well. We're always on the go. From the moment we get up, we might check our phone to see what's happened in the news, or what to do the next day that we didn't do, or on the same day. And when we go to bed, like I stated before, we usually check our email. We don't take time to settle down and relax before we sleep. And our generation, we're afraid of silence. When we're doing homework, we listen to music. When we're walking, we listen to music or we're scrolling through our feed. We don't just take time to take in the nature around us, the people around us, and just be alone to our thoughts sometimes. Now, according to the Lance, since now you see how it affects us emotionally, you can now see how it affects us in the long term. So the Lance says phones will cause us to be less work-oriented, or our willingness to volunteer. Because since we're so just focused on our phones and what's happening in our lives, we might not be as willing to put it down and go out and volunteer and clean up a beach, or go on a walk for life, or go to work. Along with that, we have a lack of professionalism in the workplace. So because you're on your phone, you might be goofing around. You might be not even doing what you're supposed to be doing. Or when it comes to job interviews, you might say something at the end of the interview like, "Oh, see you later, bro," that you don't even know. It's just an unconscious thing that you say over text, and it might affect you. And along with that, if you're spending so much time on your phone in your younger years when you couldn't be doing things and putting it on your resume, it won't look good to the people you're trying to get to hire you, that you didn't do much. And lastly, you have a loss of clear thinking. Like I stated before, if you're having an argument in public, you probably won't be able to think as clear on your feet. But in a job interview, if somebody's asking you, what do you think you can contribute to this job? You might be using filler words like, I am a good worker. I will be here. That's not an answer. You might not be able to think as well on your feet, and you might be stuck into a rut of what you think the job interview is going to be like, rather what the person who's hiring you is trying to figure out. Now, we've covered how often we use our phones on average. We've covered how it affects us emotionally and how much sleep we get. And lastly, we covered how it can affect us in the long run. So now, what can you do about this, you might ask? Well, you can't really write a letter to your congressman to make this illegal. But this movement starts in an individual's heart. So you can go to change.org and follow this link here, write it down, or ask me after for the link by email, and sign this petition, not just to spread awareness, but to make a pledge for yourself to stop using your phone unnecessarily when you're walking from class to class or just daily activities. Now, this isn't enough though. You might say, oh, I'll do this for a week and it won't happen. Well, you can go on the App Store and download Moment. This app records how often you use your phone and on what apps. So I challenge you to, if you download this app, and I really encourage you to do so, to limit your phone use about 5% each month and bring it down until you think you're at a correct level of balancing your work on your phone and all the important things and your social life. So this campus that we live on, it's a ghost town. How about we populate it? Thank you.